I knew the only thing I was missing at that point was opportunity. When we fought, Nakamura proved to be very strong, and even though he had previously lost some fights, his experience competing in Japan showed. But I dominated the fight from beginning to end. I was able to rack up a good amount of points on the judges' scorecards by taking him down and utilizing ground and pound. The end result of that fight was going to be very important for me. He had caused a lot of trouble to fighters over in Japan, yet I was able to dominate the fight. I didn't let his strength intimidate me, and I imposed my game plan as a result. My next fight was against Sakaju. At that point, he had beat Rogério Nogueira and Ricardo Arona. We Brazilians tend to stick together, and Rogério is a good friend of mine. When Sakaju beat him, it made an impact. Sakaju was a fighter who seemed to grow stronger by the day, scare more and more fighters. When he moved to the UFC, a lot of guys didn't want to fight him. However, I said yes. I knew that he was strong and that he had always been very dedicated, showing a lot of effort, but I also knew that it would be very difficult for him to get me due to my leg kicks and karate techniques. If he did manage to bring me to the ground, I was also very comfortable with my ground game, so I wasn't very worried. The fight was exactly what I had imagined. He was fast and explosive, but my evasive techniques prevented him from taking me to the ground. At one point during the fight, he hesitated for a moment, and that's when I struck him and knocked him down. Instead of giving him time to recover, I went down with him, attained side control, transitioned to the mount, and then submitted him with katagatame. It was a pretty stressful fight because my passport approval had been delayed in Brazil. I got it just one day before the fight. In addition to this stress, everyone was talking about how dangerous Sakaju was. I'm used to going through these psychological difficulties, but it becomes a lot harder when you arrive only one day before the fight. In order to pull it off, I needed to do some serious meditation. I had put aside the talk about how Sakaju was too strong, too dangerous. I continued to believe in myself, which is the most important thing. If you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter who you face. You can always beat him. My fight with Tito Ortiz was difficult because of the rivalry going between Dana White and Tito. I was caught in the middle. I kept trying to get away from it, but it was difficult. Tito kept saying he wanted to get me because it would be the same thing as beating up Dana White. Dana White kept saying that I would beat Tito without a doubt. And there I was in the middle. I tried to make it clear that controversy belonged to them and that I had nothing to do with it. I just wanted to show up and do my job. Luckily, I was able to dominate Tito from the beginning to the end. I knocked him down, executed takedowns. I dominated in all three arenas. Tito was unable to execute what he wanted, which was to put me into the cage and beat me up. After this fight, my popularity in the U.S. grew significantly. My name became known in the U.S. It was good for me because I really needed that. I had always had these big fights with strong fighters, yet my name was never known. This fight proved that I could fight Tito Ortiz, someone who had a lot of popularity and was very strong. It added value to my career. At the end of the match, he managed to catch me in a good triangle choke, but my will to escape was bigger than his will to win. There was no way I would have tapped. I wanted to win at any cost. It is important to know that the secret to doing good in mixed martial arts is training. You don't need a lot of training, but you need the right type of training. Sometimes people waste their energy because they want to train so bad, but they don't know how to go about it in a productive manner. You can train to exhaustion and still be training incorrectly and inefficiently. You need to train well in the correct way. My secret is correct training. I try to do my training based on fight strategies and to be consistent. It is very important to train every day. This is what counts. Consistency. I've had the opportunity to learn the martial arts philosophy, the culture of the martial arts, which is the Oriental culture. I always made discipline and determination a priority. If you really want to reach your goals, you need to make sacrifices. To me, sacrifice is a pleasure because I love to train. This is the success secret. It's determination, consistency in your training, and always trying to be better. I'm not the greatest fighter, but I'm just dedicated. I'm a guy who tries to be better every day. I'm always trying to find more challenges to incorporate in my training, because this is the way you grow. I hope to be able to continue thinking like that always, in order to advance one step further each day. Karate to me is my foundation. Karate is my life. There is a technical side, and there is also the philosophical side. I think the philosophical is more important than the technique, because it prepares you for life. It's not preparation just to fight. It's preparation for life, to manage relationships, to understand orders, and to let certain things roll off your back. This is more important. Talking about the technical side, I think what makes me different is karate. Because most people have backgrounds in boxing and Muay Thai. But my background is karate. It's something a lot of fighters don't know very well. Karate is a martial art that's very difficult to learn. However, when karate is learned in its complete form and fully utilized, then it's a very strong martial art. Karate moves are very demanding technically speaking. Karate is very complete. There are differences between karate competitions and karate as a martial art. My family has been working on adapting karate-do, karate that existed before competitions. It was a strong karate, a system that utilizes strikes that you can't use in competition, only in the gym. A lot of people have misconceptions about karate because they see karate competitions. But a lot of strikes have been outlawed from competition because they're considered too dangerous. Once that happened, karate practitioners began to distort karate and train the wrong way. If you ask someone who just received their black belt, they will think that karate is about punches and kicks only. This is not true. That is competition karate, not martial art karate. Karate is my life. Everything I have achieved, both inside and outside the ring, I owe it all to karate and the lessons it teaches. More than that, I owe everything to the karate practiced by my family, the karate my father brought over from Japan. But even karate in Japan, as well as judo, are beginning to change as competition becomes more popular. In the old days, judo was very strong, but now it is beginning to lose its essence and principles. Today, judo is only a sport. There are no more strikes that are used to finalize the fight. Karate to me represents life and all the victories I've had, material and spiritual. Everything flows from karate, the non-competitive version, centered as a martial art. When I stop fighting, I would like to pass along all the knowledge that I have gained. Teaching people is a big dream for me. I really want to teach and show the path not only to athletes, but I would like to help provide life foundation to individuals. I would like to help people to be better, honest, with principles and values, to have respect for others. These are the most important things to build foundation. If you have all this, you can be whatever you want, a journalist, a lawyer, a doctor. Everyone can use the culture and philosophy of the martial arts. This is my dream after fighting, to be a great teacher, offer everything that I have learned and everything I'm still learning. We can always learn from everyone, from a little child to an elderly person. All you need to do is pay attention and learn how to listen and see. This is the most important thing. This is my future. It's to form a great gym where I can show and teach my knowledge to anyone who wants to learn the Machida karate-do, the martial art karate. I also want to say that I'm very grateful to all of you, my fans, being supportive of me. I'm so happy when someone stops me on the street. It makes me happy talking to my fans. I don't have enough words to thank my fans for their affection for me. So I'll just say thank you very much and goodbye until the next time I see you. In this DVD, I will show how to utilize karate in mixed martial arts competition. I will discuss why movement is so important, why it is important to learn the intricacies of each strike. I will also demonstrate how to attack and defend using movement. This is the principal objective. A large part of this DVD will focus on using your legs for defense. A lot of people think you should defend using your arms, when in actuality, your arms are the last thing you want to use for defense. Before you use your arms, you must utilize movement, utilize your legs. How? You pivot to one side, pivot out to the other side. You want to use movement and footwork to escape your opponent's attacks. Always pivoting, always escaping to one side or the other. When you learn how to move in this fashion, it'll be much easier to attack and defend. You'll cut angles that make it very difficult for your opponent to hit you. This is a very important aspect of your training. I will also discuss the importance of learning how to kick properly. The way you throw your kicks, your form, is vital for the success of your kicks. A lot of times, fighters don't try hard enough to master each individual kick. For example, if you move your shoulders prior to kicking, you telegraph your movement. Then your opponent can read your movements and have time to defend your attack. In this DVD, I will demonstrate how to kick properly and how and why to bring your leg back into your stance after kicking. If you learn how to kick properly in the beginning, learn all the various details, then it will be much easier for you to effectively use kicks in a fight. In this DVD, I will also focus on punches. When you throw punches in karate, you don't want to let your elbows drift away from your body. In addition to losing power, you telegraph your strike, making it easy for your opponent to see the punch coming and defend against it. If you learn to throw your punches correctly, your opponent won't see the punch coming until it's too late. Also, the most important part about punching is staying relaxed. You don't want to tense up until just before you hit your target. If you are tight when you punch, you won't be able to hit very hard. Elbows will also be covered. They are a very valuable tool because they allow you to land hard strikes from a very short distance. However, in order to throw elbows effectively, you must know the proper angle of entry for each one. There are a lot of fighters who understand how to throw elbows, but because they don't know the proper angle of entry, they aren't successful with them. It is a very important aspect. I strongly recommend reviewing this entire section because elbow strikes are a very strong weapon that should be taken advantage of. Knee strikes are another very important tool to have in your arsenal. They are similar to elbows because they can be executed from close range, but I will also demonstrate knee strikes that can be thrown from a distance. For example, why is it very important to angle your foot downward when throwing knee strikes? I will cover all these details. I recommend spending the time it takes to master knee strikes because they can often determine the outcome to a fight, especially if your opponent doesn't have good knee defense. Katas are not generally associated with MMA, but if you want to apply karate to MMA, then it is super important to work on constantly developing your base. This is what katas do for you. However, drilling just katas will not make you a good MMA fighter. Even if you have a strong base and a host of combinations, you still need to learn how to apply them in MMA. So, katas are super important for developing your base. They're important for mastering the basics. But in order to be a good fighter, you must still learn how to apply these skills in a real fight.